Good morning students, I am Maushmi Prasad and creator of this channel Digital Generation. This channel is regarding chapter wise preparation for both ICSE and CBSE students. I hope you will get best knowledge and explanation from this channel. Today we are going to study about transportation in life process. Transportation can be defined as a vital process in which the substance absorbed or synthesized in one part of the body is moved to other part of the body. The method of transportation is different in plants and in animals. In plants, the transportation of water and minerals and also the products of photosynthesis are transported by two main tissues, xylem and phloem. Whereas in animals, transportation is carried by well-developed circulatory system. In animals, all the vertebrates have well-developed circulatory system. So first we will study transportation in plants. Transportation in plant is not so effective as in animals. But in higher plants, there is a well-developed tissues known as vascular bundles. These vascular bundles consist of two types of tissues, xylem and phloem. Xylem in Greek means wood and phloem in Greek means bark. These two types of tissues helps in conduction of water, minerals and food substances throughout the plant's body. The transportation of water and minerals from the soil is carried by a special type of tissue known as xylem tissues. These tissues are dead cells. And the transportation of the products of photosynthesis or food is transported to various parts of the plants by another special types of tissues known as phloem tissues. Phloem are the living cells. Now we will study in details about the xylem and phloem. Xylem, as we have told, that they are the dead cells. They help in conduction of water and minerals from the roots to other parts of the plants. The water and minerals is absorbed by the root and then is transported to other parts of the plants like stems and leaves. In leaves, this water combines with carbon dioxide and helps in photosynthesis. So first we must try to understand how this water from the root goes up to the leaves. For this we must study about the xylem tissues. Xylem consists of four types of components. They are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Out of these, only xylem parenchyma consists of living cells and the rest three consist of dead cells. Tracheids, vessels and xylem fiber consist of dead cells. So let's study about tracheids and vessels. Tracheids are long, thin and spindle shaped. As tracheids are dead cells, so the cell wall is thickly lignified and it consists of small apertures called pits. The end wall of tracheids are intact. So the passage of water from one cell to other cell takes place through the small aperture or pits in tracheids. They are single cell. In non-flowering plants, tracheids are the only conducting cells. Now we will see about the vessels. Vessels are long cylindrical shape which have even diameter throughout the length. They consist of rows of cells. The end wall of vessels are dissolved so that water can go very easily from one cell to another cell. Vessels are found in flowering plants. They are also dead cells, so they too also have thickly lignified cell wall. Similar like tracheids, they too have pits or small aperture. Now we will come across xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma are the only living cells of xylem tissues. They are small and thin. They help in storage of food and also in lateral conduction of water. Xylem fiber. These xylem fibers are dead cells and they give the mechanical strength to the plant. Now we will study the transport of water and minerals from soil to the leaves. Plants take minerals in the form of inorganic nitrates and phosphates which are dissolved in water and so they are absorbed by the roots. Roots have many tiny thread-like structures which are called root hairs. Root hairs are the outgrowth of the epidermal cells of the roots. These root hairs goes deep into the soil and absorbs water and minerals from the soil under the effect of diffusion. What is diffusion? Diffusion means the movement of molecules. It may be either solid, liquid or gas. Here it is water molecule. So we will say the movement of water molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration is known as diffusion. Soil contains higher concentration of water molecules than roots. So diffusion takes place and water molecules and inorganic substances enters into the root hairs by the process of diffusion. So the molecules of water move from the region of higher diffusion pressure to the region of lower diffusion pressure. In this way, the water molecule reaches the root hairs. From the root hairs, it goes deep into the root up to xylem tissues under the effect of diffusion. Now we will study how these water molecules from the roots goes up to leaves. This upward movement of water molecules from roots then to stem and then from stem to leaves is known as ascent of sap. Various theories have been proposed by different scientists, but the best accepted theory is transpiration pool theory. Before coming to this transpiration pool theory, we must know what is transpiration. Loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant, mainly the leaf, is known as transpiration. Only 5 to 10% of water is needed by the plant and the rest of the water is lost by the method of transpiration. This transpiration helps in temperature regulation and also helps in excess removal of water from the plants. There is another term called guttation, which must not be confused with transpiration. Guttation means loss of water in the form of liquid droplets from the margin of the leaves by a special structures called hydrothods. So, in transpiration, there is a loss of water in the form of vapor, whereas in guttation, there is a loss of water in the form of liquid droplets. Now we will come to the point about transpiration pool theory. This theory suggests that when there is excess of water in the leaves, then transpiration takes place and the leaves loses water. As a result, there is a tension or deficiency of water in the leaves. So leaves demand more and more water from the stem. In the same way, the stem also demands more and more water from the roots. And in this way, a suction pressure is created in the plants. And due to this suction pressure, the water from the roots moves upward. And this upward movement of water from the roots to the leaf is known as transpiration pool theory. One thing must be very clear here, that this upward movement of water by the xylem tissues takes place only by the mechanical or physical force, and no metabolic energy is involved in this upward movement of water, because xylem tissues consist of dead cells. And this transpiration pool or suction pressure is created in the plant only because of the deficiency of water in the leaves. So, two physical force is involved in the process of upliftment of water from the roots to the leaves. One is diffusion. The diffusion pressure is created in the roots, and thus the water molecules move from the region of higher concentration, that is the soil, from there to the roots where there is low deficiency pressure. Again, there is transpiration pool where there is deficiency of water in the leaves. As such, there is suction pressure. For this reason, the water molecules move upward from roots to leaves. Before going to another types of tissues of plants, that is phloem, we will discuss similarities and differences between tracheids and vessels. The similarities between tracheids and vessels are that they are dead cells and they have lignified walls and they have small apertures or pits in their wall for the conduction of water. The difference between tracheids and vessels are that tracheids is a single cell, whereas vessel consists of rows of cells. The end walls of tracheids are intact or closed, whereas the end walls of vessels are open. Tracheids are spindle shaped, whereas vessels are cylindrical in shape with even diameter. And tracheids are found only in non-flowering plants, whereas vessels are found in flowering plant. Now we will study the transportation of food or products of photosynthesis from leaves to other part of the plants. The movement of the food or products of synthesis to other part of the body is known as translocation, and this translocation is a very vital process, and this is conducted by phloem tissues, and phloem tissues are living cells. Phloem tissue consists of 4 types of components. They are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem or bast fibers. Out of these, only phloem or bast fiber consists of dead cells. Rest 3 consist of living cells. So, let's go in details about sieve tubes and companion cells. Sieve tubes are long tube-like perforated structure. As they are living cells, so the cell walls are not lignified and they have cellulosic wall. They also have many pores in their bodies. Sieve tubes are placed end to end. In between the 2 cells of sieve tubes is placed sieve plate, which is perforated, and thus the food is filtered through these pores. The sieve tube is hollow-like structure and is perforated. It helps in conduction of food and other substances from leaves to other parts of the plants. The matured sieve tubes have no nucleus but have a large vacuole. Second component is companion cell. Companion cells are always associated with the sieve tubes, and they are small, thin and non-lignified. These companion cells have very dense and active cytoplasm. It has a long and elongated nucleus. Companion cells are attached to the sieve tubes by numerous plasmodesmata. So these two cells, companion cells and sieve tubes, together forms the functional unit. Now the third element or component of phloem is phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma also have thin wall and helps in lateral conduction, also in storage of food. The fourth component of phloem is phloem or bast fiber. These are the only dead cells of the phloem tissue, and they gives mechanical strength to the plant. But in some plants like jute, hemp and flax, this phloem or bast fiber has commercial and economical value. Before studying the mechanism of transport of food from leaves to other parts of the plant, we must go through differences between xylem and phloem tissues at a glance. Xylem tissues helps in conduction of water and minerals, whereas phloem tissues helps in conduction of food and other substances like hormones. Conduction in xylem is unidirectional, that is always upward from root to leaves, whereas the conduction in phloem tissue is bidirectional, that is from the leaves to the storage organ of the plants like stems and roots or growing parts of the plants, or from the storage organ like roots or stems to the growing parts of the plant like buds. So the direction may be bidirectional. The four components of xylem tissues are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Out of these, only xylem parenchyma is living and is used for storage of food, whereas the rest three like tracheids, vessels and xylem fibers are dead cells. Phloem tissue consists of four components: sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem or bast fiber. Out of these, phloem or bast fiber consists of dead cells, and the rest three, that is the sieve tubes, companion cells and phloem parenchyma, consist of living cells. Xylem tissues gives mechanical strength to the plant, whereas phloem tissue has no mechanical function. In older trees, these xylem tissues forms the wood of the trees, whereas phloem forms the bark of the trees. Now we will study about the transport of food and other substances from leaves to other parts of the plants. As the phloem cells are living cells, so conduction of food from leaves to other parts of the body is conducted by the activity of the living cells, and for this reason only the mechanical or physical force is not sufficient. Metabolic energy in the form of ATP is needed for the conduction of food from leaves to other parts of the plant. Translocation takes place due to the difference in concentration of solute or food particles. In leaves, there is high concentration of solute or food particles, as because the food is manufactured there. So it creates a great osmotic pressure in the leaves, and due to this reason the water from the other parts of the plants, mainly the stems, enters into the leaves and decreases the osmotic pressure. And now the foods along with water in dilute form enters into the phloem tissue, which has low osmotic pressure. In this way, the translocation or movement of the food takes place from the region of higher concentration of solute to the region of lower concentration of solute in phloem tissues under the effect of osmotic pressure and metabolic energy in the form of ATP, as because phloem cells are living cells, unlike xylem tissues which are non-living, and so only mechanical or physical force is involved in the process of upliftment of water. In our next video, we will discuss about the transportation in human being. There is a good news for you. Digital generation has come up with another new stage, quizzing with digital generation. Here we will discuss MCQs from physics, chemistry and biology regularly and separately. So keep watching Quizzing with Digital Generation. Thank you for watching my video, and if you find my video useful, please do like and share my videos and subscribe my channel to get the latest update of my videos. And if you have any doubt regarding this channel, comment below. I will try to answer as early as possible.